In the 60 years since its founding, the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority has dramatically increased its role in the Toledo region. Over the years, the Port Authority has expanded its operations beyond the Port of Toledo by taking over operations of Toledo Express Airport and Toledo Executive Airport and acquiring the Toledo Shipyard, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Plaza, 1 and 2 Maritime Plazas, 3 downtown Toledo parking garages, and more than 300 acres of former industrial properties, including the former Chevron refinery, the former Toledo Coke plant, and the former Willys Jeep manufacturing site. The Port Authority has launched new services and programs to promote economic development in Northwest Ohio, including innovative financing and energy efficiency programs, Brownfield Redevelopment, a community economic development grant program, and the Diversified Contractors Accelerator program. While much has changed over the past 60 years, the Port Authority continues to hold the same fundamental vision as its founders did in 1955.
I was hired in on July 16th of 1960. And at that time, they were just starting to do trade missions to Europe to establish business contacts for bringing in shipping into Toledo, because at that time, we were just seaport oriented.
It was 1955. Toledo was sprawling in the post-war period. Its population was on the rise, and the first Port Authority in the state of Ohio was created.
There were so many speeches and programs, and just trying to make the general public aware of what a Port Authority was. And it was new, and people didn't know what a Port Authority was, and that was our job to educate them and promote the port, promote and develop the port.
Since incorporation in 1833, the city of Toledo has been a major Great Lakes port, handling commodities like grain, flour, butter, pork, and lumber. The construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway created new opportunities for the Port of Toledo. Under the direction of the new Port Authority, the seaport flourished and became the largest coal port in the world, handling over 30 million tons annually from 1963 to 1966. Today, the Port Authority continues to focus on modernization and expansion and has seen year-over-year increases in 2013 and 2014. Shipments through the St. Lawrence Seaway to and from Toledo increased over 9% in 2013, and general cargo shipments more than doubled, reaching their highest point since 2007. Toledo received more ocean vessel calls in 2014 than any year since 2006.
The year started off very strong. Pig iron and some steel raw material products have been very good for us. We did see a lull in May and June. I think that's just the normal course of the economy, kind of some slowdown. But July, things started to pick back up, and we've had a very strong August, and I feel that we'll have a good end of the season.
Because of the increases in cargo shipments over the past 2 years, the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority has been awarded its 13th and 14th Pacesetter Awards for the 2013 and 2014 shipping seasons, respectively. Dredging is a necessity in order for the Port of Toledo to maintain safe navigation and maximum efficiency. In 2014, the Port Authority received a $2.5 million grant through the Ohio Healthy Lake Erie Fund to design and construct the Great Lakes Dredged Material Center for Innovation at the Riverside CDF in North Toledo. The new facility will provide an upland alternative for the placement of dredged material.
And we have about 3 million cubic yards of dredged material every year coming out of Lake Erie harbors. We need to keep these harbors open for economic value and for the benefit that they provide to the entire state of Ohio. But on the other hand, we have a material there that is currently being looked upon as a waste that we want to turn into a beneficial, economically valuable type of material.
The Center of Innovation is the implementation of one of the recommendations from the Port Authority's 2012 Toledo Harbor Sediment Management and Use Plan. Construction of this facility will commence this winter. Ironhead Marine has enjoyed great success over the past 2 seasons at the Toledo Shipyard. A parade of vessels from the U.S. and Canadian Great Lakes shipping fleets rotated through the graving docks, including the Sam Laud, Algorail, Great Republic, and Sarah Spencer.
We have 30 to 100 union boilermakers and machinist millwrights here. Toledo is known for a strong union community, and we have good workers here. We're competitive with the other shipyards on the Great Lakes.
We're proud of our developments over the past several years at the Port of Toledo, which continues to grow and develop and support jobs throughout the region.
In 1973, the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority assumed operation of Toledo Express Airport. The airport, which opened its doors on January 6, 1955, was established by the City of Toledo because nearby Toledo Municipal Airport, later renamed Metcalf Field, and most recently Toledo Executive Airport, was constrained by nearby railways and roadways. Toledo Express Airport provides an easy alternative to larger, less convenient hub airports. With the ease of parking and speedy passenger screening through TSA, the airport offers an enjoyable and relaxing experience for both leisure and business travelers. Current passenger service includes American Airlines nonstop service to Chicago with one-stop connections to over 100 worldwide destinations. Additionally, Allegiant provides low-fare nonstop service to 3 popular Florida destinations. Passenger service at Toledo Express has increased 25% since 2011. The airport has seen 2 consecutive year-over-year increases, with 2013 up 11% over 2012 and 2014 up 11% over 2013. New cargo service at Toledo Express Airport includes Interjet West, a newly certified cargo carrier that operates a Boeing 727 from TOL, along with its sister carrier, Sierra West, which provides a range of air cargo services specializing in on-demand air cargo for the automotive industry. In the spring, the airport began complete rehabilitation of its primary taxiway, which also included an upgrade to energy efficiency LED lighting. Additionally, the taxiway at Toledo Executive Airport was extended. Both projects pumped $13 million into local construction contracting.
I don't think that people realize what we do have here. We have a component of Toledo Public Schools here. Most of the larger corporations that have flight departments are here at the airport. We have FBOs that supply fuel to the aircraft and also handle charters. So there's a wide array of different partnerships that we have here.
In 1988, the Port Authority began providing financing with the creation of the Northwest Ohio Bond Fund in an effort to stimulate economic development by offering favorable terms to meet the needs of businesses in our region. To date, the Northwest Ohio Bond Fund has provided financing for 66 projects in the amount of approximately $264 million.
Certainly from a local perspective, there was certainly a void in providing access to capital to businesses, whether it's private side or public side, to generate activity for development within Northwest Ohio. Being a political subdivision of the state of Ohio, we have the jurisdiction to go out and issuing debt, long-term debt, to be able to foster a conducive environment for economic development through capital deployment to businesses.
The Port Authority recently approved a lease agreement with the Andersons to acquire and construct a new 130,000 square foot corporate headquarters through a number of Port Authority financing mechanisms, totaling up to $50 million. In addition to the bond fund, the Port Authority provides financing through the Ohio Regional 166 Loan Program, the U.S. SBA 504 Loan Program, conduit bonds, capital lease structures, and the Better Buildings Northwest Ohio program. To date, the Port Authority has assisted over 370 economic development projects, representing a total investment of nearly $2 billion, while helping to create and retain over 20,000 jobs. Propack Industries, a local packaging company, has completed its 4th financing transaction with the Port Authority. The 2 most recent transactions were an Ohio Regional 166 loan and SBA 504 loan, totaling $1.5 million for the acquisition of new equipment for its facility. In addition, North Design, a local design firm, has secured a $509,000 SBA 504 loan to purchase new real estate for relocation of its headquarters.
One of the major benefits that we saw working with the Port Authority and the SBA loan program was the Port Authority really helped us to streamline the paperwork and the convenience of the process. So for us, that was a huge advantage.
The Better Buildings Northwest Ohio Energy Efficiency Financing Program, established in 2010, was just one of 25 programs across the nation selected by the U.S. Department of Energy to receive a startup grant as part of the $80 million American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Since then, Better Buildings has provided over $28 million in financing for over 100 projects in Ohio. This financing has created over 84,000 job hours and allowed aging and energy-intensive facilities to save money and energy through equipment upgrades. Recently, Toledo School for the Arts utilized this program to complete a $1.2 million project to upgrade the building's air handlers and rooftop units, chiller and cooling tower, building automation system, and has replaced its 60-year-old boilers. The school will see an energy savings of 20% annually.
You can imagine with a 100-year-old building that there are certain issues that arise, especially with the types of resources and mechanisms that simply just age themselves out. So there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of the overall operation and comfort of the entire building. Ultimately, not being able to fix and resource and manage these puts the operations of the building and the safety of our students at risk.
The PNC building, located at 405 Madison Avenue, recently completed an energy efficiency project to upgrade lighting and building controls, as well as installation of a 5-module dual compressor chiller. Total project cost was $448,000, with an estimated energy savings of 412 40 kilowatt hours annually.
The biggest thing that we hear is number one, the consistency, as opposed to what we had before. We had these 60-year-old chillers with not a lot of flexibility. The 5-module unit gives us the flexibility to gear the temperature to what the need is of the building at any given time.
In 1994, the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority acquired one of the last Union railway stations constructed in the United States, Central Union Terminal. The Port Authority invested over $11 million to renovate the historic facility into a modern train and bus terminal and office complex. The terminal was rededicated as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Plaza in 2001. Between 2013 and 2014, passenger volume averaged almost 66,000 per year, reaching destinations such as Chicago, Boston, Buffalo, and Washington, D.C., making it Ohio's busiest passenger rail hub. On Tuesday, September 22, 2015, the Port Authority, along with TMACOG and various other rail associations, hosted a 65th anniversary celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Plaza.
You know, the 65th anniversary allows us the opportunity to certainly showcase Central Union Plaza. But it's also an important piece of our history here in Toledo. As cities become closer and closer together in a globalized economy, having access to transportation assets like high-speed rail are going to be very important to cities like Toledo in the future.
In 2004, the Port Authority began acquiring and developing strategically positioned brownfield properties in the Toledo region. The Brownfield Redevelopment Program addresses the growing number of polluted former industrial sites throughout the region and focuses on obtaining federal and state grants for the cleanup and redevelopment of brownfields and coordinates rehabilitation efforts.
I think in older communities, old manufacturing communities like Toledo and Northwest Ohio, you have to have somebody that's focused on redeveloping brownfields.
As part of the Brownfield Redevelopment Program, the Port Authority acquired the former Chevron property, consisting of 181 riverfront acres of developable brownfield property. Renamed Ironville Terminal in recognition of Toledo's proud industrial past and nearby neighborhood, the Port Authority and Midwest Terminals of Toledo readied the land for manufacturing and heavy industry, allowing Midwest to grow current operations and expand into new industries, creating jobs in Toledo.
Now it's vibrant, we have people working there, we have commerce flowing through it.
The development of Ironville was financed with public and private investment. The Port Authority utilized a combination of state financing mechanisms along with new market tax credits to complete the multi-phased $18 million project. Development on the site included the installation of approximately 20,000 linear feet of rail, which were connected with the nearby Norfolk Southern Rail Line, improvements to the river channel and shoreline, construction of a marine vessel berth, the installation of a multimodal ship unloading system, and the construction of a 19,000 square foot warehouse. In 2010, the Port Authority acquired what many accurately describe as the birthplace of Jeep.
Here at this site, at I-75-475, we have one of the most accessible sites in the entire country, not just to move product in for finishing and for manufacture, but out.
This site really makes me feel good, recognizing that it's going to be re-industrialized. And we really wanted it to be reused for what its original birth was, and the Port Authority understood that and spent a lot of money doing brownfield remediation here, and then started contracting out to put the roads in.
Now known as Overland Industrial Park, this once vacant site is now breathing new life. The Port Authority has been diligently working over the past few years to ready the site for redevelopment. To date, $14 million has been invested on the site for redevelopment purposes, resulting in more than 31,000 man-hours.
We are currently in the redevelopment stage of the site, basically the last half of the redevelopment stage. We've completely remediated the site, removed concrete foundations, brought the grade up to a level site to increase usability by future companies coming in.
For many residents of the Toledo region, this site is more than just a piece of land. It is a representation of promise and hope to the thousands of people that call Jeep home.
125,000 cars a day pass by that site on I-75, so redeveloping that into a Class A industrial park, again, I think is important, not only just for the image of Toledo, but we're taking one of our poorest census tracts in the entire community, redeveloping and putting jobs back in those neighborhoods.
On October 8th, the Port Authority, along with its partners, industrial developers, held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the completion of the first 100,000 square foot warehouse on the iconic site.
We believe that to support a strong central city, that Toledo can develop industrial parks such as this to bring in world-class companies with world-class employees that will enhance the city.
And I think it's incredibly important and a big part of our revival in Northwest Ohio.
This past summer, new construction began at the Toledo Shipyard. A new roadway connecting the shipyard and St. Mary's Cement Marine Terminal to Front Street was completed in September. This roadway, which facilitates the flow of goods from vessel to truck, was funded in part through the Transportation Improvement Program administered by the Toledo Metropolitan Area Council of Governments. The Port Authority also constructed a new $7.6 million Ohio Department of Transportation maintenance facility in Crawford County. The project created approximately 30,000 man-hours.
ODOT District 3 heard about the facility we built for ODOT District 2 like 3 years ago, and that it was a success. It was an expedited process, but still with the craftsmanship and quality of construction, and so they reached out to us because they had a tight timeline that they needed to meet as well.
The Port Authority has also stayed busy over the past 2 years leasing out several of its available facilities. In September of last year, the Port entered into a long-term lease with Seneca Petroleum for 35 acres of waterfront property at the former Toledo Coke site. This site was remediated for redevelopment by the Port Authority through the Clean Ohio Revitalization Fund. Seneca will use the property to expand its liquid bulk tank farm and take advantage of the multimodal shipping options that the location provides. The Port Authority welcomed Toledo's own Willie's Salsa to Toledo Express Airport in May 2015. Willie's Salsa now leases 6,200 square feet of space in the cold storage facility where it produces salsa for nationwide distribution. This past spring, the Port Authority leased 16,055 square feet of office and storage space to Quick Flight, located in the 2 Air Cargo Building, for its new corporate headquarters. Quick Flight is recognized as an innovative and growing provider of ground handling services across the eastern U.S. Also, in July 2015, the Port leased the remaining 47,024 square feet of the 2 Air Cargo Building to Johnson Controls, who uses the space and strategic location of Toledo Express for storage and distribution of auto parts. In August 2015, the Port Authority acquired 2 Maritime Plaza, the sister building to the Port Authority headquarters at 1 Maritime Plaza. The Port Authority has plans to invest in this historic building by making it more energy efficient and comfortable for its tenants. Both waterfront buildings are near full occupancy. In 2005, the Port Authority created the Community Economic Development Initiative Grant and Loan Program, which is funded with proceeds from the property tax levy. The program provides grants and loans to qualified neighborhood-based organizations for eligible development projects.
We fund a lot of feasibility studies and upfront grant funds to help projects get off the ground. Most of the times we're the first money in, and they're able to take that and leverage other sources. So I think it's incredibly important to be able to accomplish things that otherwise wouldn't happen.
In November 2013, the Port Authority approved a $30,000 Community Economic Development Initiative grant to the Maritime Academy of Toledo to upgrade its training simulator at 1 Maritime Plaza. The Maritime Academy relies heavily on simulator technology, which prepares high school students for careers in the maritime industry. After graduation, these students seek entry-level positions aboard ships with wage potential of up to $60,000. In July 2014, the Port Authority approved a $35,000 Community Economic Development Initiative grant to the Toledo Community Service Center to provide a commercial-grade kitchen to Family House located in central Toledo. Family House was imperiled by funding cuts several years ago.
And so through the Port Authority and the $35,000 grant that we received, we were able to purchase all of our capital expenses, purchase the labor that we needed to make it happen. And today, we're able to serve the families 3 meals a day. They don't have to go out into our community and find the food. It's right here at Family House, and it's one less thing that they have to worry about as they're going through the crisis of homelessness.
The Port Authority also granted $25,000 to the Sophia Quintero Art and Cultural Center for its commercial kitchen, which will meet a greater community need through collaborative neighborhood revitalization, economic development, and healthy living initiatives. Overall, the Community Economic Development Initiative has approved over 76 projects totaling $3.6 million in grants and loans to the local community. The Port Authority was an instrumental member of the team that brought ECDI, the nation's third largest microlender, to Toledo. ECDI is a nonprofit economic development organization based in Ohio that provides microloans to small businesses that do not qualify for conventional bank financing due to insufficient credit history, collateral, or business experience.
It's really aimed at those small entrepreneurs, those startup companies. More than 50% of the loans have been made to both women and minority companies, and for a community like ours, it's incredibly important to be able to have programs that create entrepreneurs and allow people to be successful.
The organization provides loans to for-profit businesses in the range of $500 to $350,000. To date, ECDI has approved 23 loans in the community, totaling $605,000. The Port Authority's Diversified Contractors Accelerator Program, commonly known as DCAP, has continued to be very successful. The program provides access to capital for labor and material expenses, as well as bonding to local minority and women-owned contractors in public bid and privately owned construction projects in Northwest Ohio, which allows them to take on projects that they may not have otherwise had the financial capacity to do.
This program is essential because it provides a capital need to businesses that otherwise is not available to them.
Currently, the program has 44 participants and has approved 70 capital requests, totaling approximately $3.1 million.
Financing is always a problem with small businesses, so to be able to have materials paid for at a timely manner and also to have payroll met timely while we're waiting for a draw from the general contractors is quite a help.
But I needed someone that had enough belief in us that they could allow us to grow and get to where I know we can get to.
The Port Authority is committed to hosting events that further promote our regional assets and educate. This past year, the Port Authority partnered with the Regional Growth Partnership and Toledo Regional Chamber of Commerce to host a monthly Focus on Business luncheon series.
The Focus on Business Luncheon was created this year to bring business people together and to showcase successful businesses in the region. It also provides a great opportunity for the Port Authority, the Chamber, and the RGP to show their collaboration and to provide information to businesses about what's going on in our organizations to continue to increase the quality of life and economic development in Toledo.
In September, the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority, in conjunction with Grand Air, hosted the CAF Red Tail Squadron Rise Above traveling exhibit at Toledo Express Airport. Visitors learned about the Tuskegee Airmen, America's first black military pilots, and their support personnel, who showed strength of character, courage, and the ability to triumph over adversity in World War II.
The 3 little years, from 17 to 20, I came home after the war, POW and the rest of us, 20 years old, not old enough to vote, couldn't even go out on the bar and have a drink. But those 3 little years now define me.
The Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority is proud of the accomplishments we've achieved over the last 60 years. Today, we celebrate the Port Authority's impact on our community by creating new opportunities, innovative solutions, and jobs for our region. Today, as in 1955, we look forward to moving our community forward.
It's really been a growing place to work at and see, and so much has taken place. It's just been amazing and a fun job. Excuse me, one moment. Good morning, Port Authority.